Zach McDonald, welcome to Heart of the City.
That's me.
That's you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Zach is co-owner with his wife Riley of Ramblewood Events
Yes.
and Our Table, which is a catering and events company, the two of them. A little backstory on mine and Zach's relationship.
It goes back.
We go way back. Zach actually officiated my wedding, which was fun. He officiated our wedding. So yeah, I mean, how long have we known each
And
other
you're
now?
still together.
And we're still together. What a miracle in this day and age.
I know.
Going on 11 years, you know? But yeah, I mean, we knew each other way back when.
Before that.
So probably 15,
Started in
17 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zach, you had like this wildly creative career. It's been so fun to watch you like grow into all your different facets of Zach McDonald. Okay, but let's talk about, I can remember the day, like, what was that, like 7 or 8 years ago now, that we were like sitting around your kitchen table, you, me, and Riley, and we were workshopping business names.
Yes.
And it was like, I was starting a freelance business then. You guys
Yes.
were looking at starting this events company. Where did Ramblewood even come from again?
It's my grandpa named the property that we eventually want to maybe have a venue on, Ramblewood, when he bought it.
Got it.
And I
So
was
that was
like, well, at
easy.
least it has a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
I hate when people just have like
A
some
random.
random name that sounds,
Yeah. So funny.
Ramblewood just stuck.
It stuck. And here we are years later, and you've grown this empire of an events company, and I can't wait to dive in. So did you ever thought your business would be here where it is today?
I mean, it's probably weird to say yes, but I
I
mean,
knew
like,
you would. I knew you were going to say yes. I love it. That's why I asked.
yeah, I feel like it's finally getting to where I have always seen that it would be. It's exciting now to be growing the team a little bit more and to be, when you first start out and you're just, me and Riley were doing everything. And so it was like, that was never the dream. A lot of people start off and they are the owner operator. And so obviously they have to do a lot more work than they would want to do hands on. And they dream about the one day not doing it. From the beginning, I knew I didn't want to be
It's a lot of schlepping.
doing that all the time. However, it's the best way to grow a team. And I feel like
Totally.
that's been the most fun and rewarding part is, us working really hard alongside of our team, and our team works 10 times harder when we're working like that. Because they see like, oh shoot, I can't just sit down, like this guy's
And
washing the
yeah.
dishes. Like,
Yeah.
like, and he's
And they
the owner.
respect you if you've done every facet of it. Like you're not above
Yes.
taking the trash out when it needs to go out. Like you just see it and do it. I
And
mean, that's
that
part
never
of it.
changes.
Yeah.
Like you're still end up like, all right, I guess I'm taking the trash.
I'm
'cause
taking the trash out.
everybody else just clocked out and left. So, yeah.
So was there like a moment in the business's history where you like it was like this light bulb moment for you and Riley where you're like, man, I think we're actually doing it. Like we're here. We're where we want to be and moving forward.
I don't know if I don't know if we're even really there yet.
Okay, I love it. Yeah.
But I do feel I think right in the beginning was like the moment that I knew like, okay, this is the right, because it was a scary start. Like, I had a business mentor who basically just grabbed me and said like, you need to quit your job tomorrow. And I had
remember.
always worked for myself, but I took these 6 years and worked for other people. And he just was like, we had done an event for him and his wife, and he was just like, you need to quit. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. And he's like, no, like you need to give him your notice like
Today.
tomorrow or today or
Gosh.
like whenever you can. And so the next day I went in and I just gave him my notice, and I
I
stayed on
mean-
2 more months, and we had nothing on the calendar, not one event. Like,
You stayed on at your full-time
At
job
my
2 more
job
months.
for two
You
more
gave them
months,
like a
yeah.
notice.
and they asked me to stay
Gosh.
on for just
Yeah.
a couple more months, and we
And
had
you were like,
nothing.
sure, because
I was like, yeah, I think that'd be great.
So how did it feel like walking in and quitting that day?
It
Like, take
was-
me back to that.
It was like very freeing in one way, but I had 2 small children, and
Yeah.
my wife was not working at that point. So,
Yeah.
obviously it's a little bit nuts, to just do it. But I think that I've given the advice a bunch of times to entrepreneurs that like, yes, that is very scary, and yes, that is very like not everyone needs to do that, right, to be able to be successful. But I don't feel like you can't really get to the place where you want to be successful with your business if you don't go all in some
Totally.
aspect. And so if you don't have the need for it and you just have
That's so true.
the want for it will maybe make you a little side hustle
But
and
until
maybe
you're
it'll go. But
hungry
if you're a little bit hungry or a lot
or
hungry or
starving.
starving, it's probably gonna
Yeah.
go a
No,
lot
that's so
better.
true.
And you have to make it work at that point. Like I've gone
So
and
true.
tried to do little businesses with some of my friends in the past, and like if they're just wading into it, it's like we need to like be really wanting this
Yeah.
enough to make it happen.
All
And
in.
so
Totally.
that's what made it happen for us. We didn't have any, like we had nothing, and we just built the business from the ground up
Truly
with
ground up. Yeah.
no nobody, just did it.
No
So no
investors,
investors,
no
no
nothing.
no
Yeah,
money,
just event
just
by
yeah.
event. Okay, so now you own Ramblewood, which
Yeah.
is this multifaceted event company. You guys do
The
planning,
planning, the
event design. Talk
yeah.
me through the whole scope of Ramblewood.
Yeah, so Ramblewood started out with mostly just like setting up events and doing more the look and the feel of the event. And within a couple months, we were like, we need to do all of the other things because
So why?
we just felt like it's just hard when a bunch of different people are working on one thing and nobody really has time to sit down and have meetings with everybody and be really clear. And so it just felt like nothing ever matched or went together. It was very incohesive, and it felt like we could just do all the pieces, and it would be a lot more, a more cohesive event.
Yeah. Even if
Um,
you yourself don't execute every single piece, having
sure.
more control over the vendors and how it's going to
Yes.
flow.
Yes.
And
Controlling it
it's
all
almost like
from
having a creative director
yes. Right.
overseeing the whole project.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Rather than that
that's
being the bride.
yes. And that's
Yeah.
when we started doing like a lot more like I started doing the food. I had already been interested in doing that. So we kind of took that over. And then we were doing, we basically were just adding because it's like we might as well just do it. Our philosophy was also we didn't want to do like as far as weddings, I mean, we do corporate events and those kind of things
Mm-hmm.
too, but as far as weddings, we didn't want to do really more than two a month because
Mm-hmm.
we had a young family and we were like,
Mm-hmm.
our kids are gonna hate us if we are never around.
Well, and a wedding is like one day/weekend commitment, but then all of the prep and
Sure.
then the
I love
breakdown.
the people
Like,
that
I
think
know,
that we
right?
work weddings, so we only work on
You
the
only work one
weekends. So
weekend,
it
and
must
it's
be
like,
so fun.
no, the actual like 2 week marker on either end of
Yeah.
a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably, yeah, like more than two a month would be
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. So it's, so that's also why we kind of built the business that we did is so that we could have enough pieces of the pie to be able to
Yeah.
make it work, which is
So when did you get
uh,
to the point, like how many years into business were you stopping saying yes to every single opportunity?
I would say it was at least well, it was interesting because the first couple of years were growing, so you're saying yes to every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID came, and that was really a
Mm.
real doozy for large
For
events.
events, God,
Everyone was like, "Is that affecting your business?" I'm like, "Well, slightly, like
just a
it's just
hair.
large groups of people meeting in confined spaces, no big deal." But yeah, we did start right after COVID. We really ramped, I feel like, and we started getting the kind of events that we were wanting more of. And then we started just not being more selective necessarily, but just kind of based on our packages, just kind of showing people like this makes more sense for our clients to need these
Yeah.
criteria.
Yeah. So you would almost like have this checklist, like making sure they were the right fit.
Right.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
And is it also kind of like a gut feeling that you and Riley get, like leaving a meeting where you're like, this just isn't for
For
us?
sure.
Yeah,
Like there's
I'm
a lot of
sure.
those, and then there's also like I care about the client even if they don't become my client.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not a fit. Like it's just and budget can be a huge part of that
Mm-hmm.
too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel in the wedding side of our industry, I just feel like, you know, Pinterest and all these things have made it feel like everybody can have everything,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't make the same kind of money. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the
Like
people
the
that
picture you're showing me is probably a $200,000 event, but your budget is 40.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then but their friend had that. And so they feel like
Right.
and their friend's friend had that and they're, like so it's hard. It is
Yeah.
hard to keep
Keeping up
up.
with the Joneses.
Yes, and
Yes.
it's like, but if you shop at the Honda dealership and your friend shops at the Maserati dealership, like
You're
you
going to have
don't
a different
always get to
outcome.
you don't always get the same products, right? So, like, it's hard to compare them, but
Yeah.
there is a difference in what you're getting,
Totally.
and there's nothing wrong with still doing the whole DIY stuff or you know bootstrapping your own wedding and making stuff happen. That's what we did. I mean, our
Yeah.
wedding was
Your wedding was the
very
best.
bootstrapped, extremely.
So fun. But I
So
think a wonderful thing about you and your team that I've learned firsthand just through events we've worked with you guys on
yeah,
is you have a really special way of not saying, no, we can't do that,
yeah,
but saying,
yeah,
coming up with a solution of, okay, I'm not sure we can do that exact thing, but here's what I'm thinking we could do to make it even more interesting.
yeah.
And so I think your creativity and just your willing to think outside the box and ideate for people is just really what you guys do best. And that just makes you really special because I know I've come to you with a lot of big asks with a small budget. And, I never have gotten like a move on.
No, no. I mean, parameters make you more creative, I think,
Yeah.
and I think that's what now for us, it's maybe a little bit more about time, whereas in
Yes.
the beginning, it's like, yeah, if we can just work within your parameters, we can still make something happen.
Totally.
I mean, obviously, with events, one thing that's hard is like when I sell you a weekend, I can't sell that weekend to somebody else. You
True.
know what I
So
mean?
you have to always be thinking
So
of
you
that.
have to think about that a little bit. It's not
Uh-huh.
the same as
That's
just
so
like
true.
scheduling wherever you want. Like
That's so true.
it is very date specific.
Yeah, like you
You
might
know,
miss out on the $200,000 wedding if you take the $40,000
and so
wedding.
that's kind of why we're forced
Yes.
to not be able to get creative with every single project that we
Yes.
take on.
Makes
However,
sense.
like I try to even in our meetings with clients that are not gonna end up being our client, I try to talk to them about like, what is your options and what are your struggles and where are your pressure
Yeah.
points and how can we at least
That's so
help guide
nice.
your situation because it's a lot of people's first and only time to do
Mhm.
that and it's a
Mhm.
lot to navigate, especially in that
Mhm.
whole wedding side of stuff.
That's so
Um,
true. So just this past year you guys were published in People magazine.
I mean, were we? Well, I think we were.
Yes, you were, which is amazing.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
So how did that go? Like did you know that's what you were all working toward? Like what's the process there? How did that
Um, a lot of the bigger weddings and this one was interesting because I think we were essentially the planner.
Mhm.
But sometimes they know that sometimes a couple or sometimes a photographer, it just kind of
Mm,
depends, knows they want to try to get like there's a goal to be featured.
interesting.
Not always. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people ends up you just do a wedding and it's really good, and so then we're like, okay, let's try to
Let's try to
feature this
submit
or
it.
submit it to
Yeah.
somebody. But sometimes it's the goal, and
Yeah.
I think that it was the goal from the beginning for people. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it was fun.
Did that like accolade shift anything in your business? Did it like boost your confidence? Like did it do much for you or was
I
it kind of here
mean,
nor there?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny. It's funny because yeah, it obviously was like it's an honor to be able to be featured like that. But I think I think it's good to remember that like yes, like you could get featured somewhere and you could get this big notoriety for something, and it's just like I mean, it's just like a celebrity that has a small role. Like it's
Yeah.
like
It's not meaning you have to stop
that's
working. Like you
impressive.
get to just like chill
Right.
now.
Right, like,
Yeah.
I'm not sitting back sipping Mai Tais on the beach or
Dang
anything, so,
it.
uh, but but, yeah, it does give you some confidence into saying, like, "Okay, we're obviously on the right track, and people obviously see that we are trying to do something at a high level."
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about our table. Our
Yeah,
table's your newest
yes.
concept that you just kind of announced. So what is our table? How does that fit in with Ramblewood?
It is barely existing because it just started, but it's very exciting to me because, um, you know, we were turning down. It's kind of to answer some of your other questions. Like we were turning down a lot of clients that really needed food, and they were ready to kind of like make the rest of everything work for themselves. Like, oh, we'll do our own flowers, or we're gonna do something simple for decor.
Mm,
We don't really need a planner. My mom is retired
mm.
and she's planning this whole thing and she wants to do it and she's confident, or some
But you wouldn't,
version of that.
yeah. But with Ramblewood, you weren't taking on events if it was just like one facet. You really
We
wanted
had
the
moved
events
when we started ramping, we moved to just full service
full
events company.
service. Okay,
So we were
makes
like,
sense.
oh, every once in a while we made exceptions, but we
Yeah,
were
of
really
course.
trying to be,
The
we're
full
gonna do it
service
all.
partner.
And I just realized like we're missing, we're not able to serve a bunch of our clients that would still want to use us for food.
Yeah.
And I saw the need in Chattanooga too. And areas beyond this too, that like of for caterers that really wanted to like do something really elevated and different and work really closely with the client and try and create a special
Right.
experience. Food can just be, it's a it's a beast, and I
It's
think a
yeah.
lot of people, like a lot of really great caterers in the area and caterers beyond this area, like they're doing so much volume, like,
Mhm.
and it is a lot to
Mhm.
try to take on these special moments and create this special little
But
thing,
for the
and
masses.
maybe do like, yeah, and maybe do like a custom menu for everybody. Like
Yeah.
it's draining, and so I sympathize with with the other caterers that are just going all the time, and then I sympathize with my clients who just
Yeah.
need help, but they want that special
Right.
Ramblewood thing, and Ramblewood was able to do that because we weren't doing it all the time.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
wasn't a caterer for the masses. We did
Mhm.
some corporate events where we did everything too, but we weren't taking, every catering job that was coming to Ramblewood.
Yeah.
So now we're basically saying let's outsource the food and really ramp
That's
that.
so
So
smart.
now food is going to be its own company. I still own most of it. I've joined with Leandro Pena, who's going to be my head chef, and he's a part owner too, and he's doing so great.
That's so
So
awesome.
he's able to like,
And you said he comes from the space of like
he's been working in food for a long time.
PGA.
I wish I knew his whole bio,
Yeah.
but I think
Okay, cool.
he went to Culinary Institute of America in New York, and he studied
Wow.
there. So I feel
Just a
almost like,
different breadth of experience,
yeah,
which
and
is
I almost
fun.
feel like, go take the
Subpar.
lead. Like I've
Yeah.
been so used to being the food person,
Yeah.
but like he definitely has more experience than me
Yeah.
inside and
Probably technical
in those,
experience
yeah, right.
too. Yeah.
So, and we're
Yeah.
able to help each other because I have the business experience and have
Yeah.
been doing this type of business longer, but
Yeah.
he is a great addition. And I mean, I asked him to give me some sample menus when we first started, and it's like, I
You were
can't make half
impressed?
the things that are
That's
on there.
so
I'm not even sure I can
awesome.
read half the things that are on there.
Okay, so let's talk about your passion for food. Where did it come from?
I don't know.
Because you're an amazing chef. You're gonna sell yourself
Well,
short.
my mom will never see this, so it's good because
Why?
I think she thinks that, she like
Made you
made me, but she
what you
did,
are?
but she really wasn't very good at
Oh,
cooking, and neither
yikes.
was
Oh,
my.
no. So, like, you didn't
I
grow
didn't
up
grow up
in it.
around good food,
Okay.
except like when we would go out and stuff. Like
And
I
then you would,
was,
like, appreciate it when you'd
yeah.
go out?
And so then my family never really cooked dinner, so I just started cooking dinner when I was
Oh.
like young, and I just was like,
Now we all want
all
you to
right,
cook
this is
for
good.
us all the
And
time.
I still love the idea of food, and I want to still be hands on in the like smaller parties and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But as we're growing the wedding side of stuff, he's gonna be able to help elevate it to the point where we can start servicing clients that really want even higher end stuff
Yeah.
than I'm more for the people type food.
Yeah. I like it. Is there a dish that you feel like you've kinda become known for that people love?
Weirdly, like I feel like Caesar salad is like my weird.
Caesar
Is
salad,
that
but
sad?
it's probably so good. No, I
I
mean,
mean, people
there
will
could be a
ask me,
bad
like, to just
Caesar.
have the dressing in jars,
They're
like,
like,
I'm
"How
like,
much would it be for just Caesar salad
right,
at my wedding?"
"Well, really? The steak wasn't it, but the Caesar salad really
Yeah,
worked for you?"
what?
But I mean,
Hey, Get what you can.
homemade croutons and,
Yum.
you know.
Lettuce that's not expired. Like,
Right.
just
Like, just
kidding.
things that are better than the bagged Caesar.
Exactly.
But weirdly, yes, people
Yeah.
will, like, ask just for that, which is
Yeah.
funny.
Hey, okay. I know what I'm asking for next time I come
It's
over.
okay.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about you and Riley. You are in
Yes.
business with your wife. You guys
Yes.
have been married how long?
Several years.
I knew you weren't going to know the exact year.
Many more than the now.
I would say
We got married in 2012.
Oh my gosh, Riley, I'm sorry.
2012.
2012. Okay.
So what year is it?
Yeah, so like 12, 13 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
ish. Okay, cool. Math isn't our strong suit. Okay, so you guys are married.
Yes.
You work together. You have 2 beautiful
Yes.
children.
Yes.
So how do you juggle it all? Like what
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot, right? Like being a working parent and then like you guys have this other facet on top of it where I mean, you shared a little bit about quitting your job and she wasn't working at the time. Like, did you guys have reservations about then starting a business together, putting all your eggs in one basket? Like, talk about that.
I mean, we kind of, our relationship started with her wanting to work for me. So, we
That's
worked well
fitting,
together in
actually.
the beginning.
Yeah.
We knew we kind of wanted to work together eventually. And so I think that has always been exciting to us. Like,
That's sweet.
I don't feel like it's been really that hard. I mean, the hardest thing is to still try and find like personal time because we talk business
All the time.
24/7.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's great. I love working with her. She's just
Do
a
you guys have like a
genius.
division of labor? Like, do you have your roles that you try to
Yes.
stick to?
What's funny is because we're married, like, and then we have a couple people that work for us pretty full time, but um, because we're married, we kind of fell into roles just like you do in like your marriage
Mhm.
situation. Like nobody has to say like you're gonna do the laundry, but somehow somebody just ends up being the
Mhm.
laundry person.
Mhm.
Like
That's Mark
that's
for me. Thank you,
that's
Mark.
how that works within
Yes.
our working world too, which is it's harder for people that come in to work with us because it's like, what are you like? Who
Yeah.
does what? Like
You're like, "Oh, you
you
don't
guys didn't
understand?
talk,
You're not inside my brain?"
right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of
Yeah.
happens a little bit. But yeah, we've definitely fallen into roles,
Yeah.
and it works really well.
So what more is your role versus Riley's?
I'm just the owner,
Oh,
and she
shush.
does everything. No, Riley is like an incredible like design genius. She doesn't know it always, but she is.
I would agree.
And so I feel like she knows she's the one that like everyone is actually always checking things off with,
Mhm.
like including myself.
Mhm.
Like I had much more confidence before I married her, and now it's like I better
Oh,
check that with
I'm
Riley. I don't
debilitated
know.
without Riley's
I don't know if
opinion.
this is the right move. But she's the one that kind of is like the visionary of
Mhm.
like making sure we are doing what Ramblewood is, you know. And I feel like because I feel like I'm more like the doer and also the
Mhm.
manager
Mhm.
of our people doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's been a interesting road for me, like moving into the role of like training people to actually take things over instead of me just doing it, which is harder than just doing it yourself,
Totally.
you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, delegation is very
Not
difficult.
great.
Yeah. So what's been like the biggest surprise of you guys working together? Have there been any surprises?
Hmm.
Like working alongside your wife in business?
I mean, maybe the surprise, this is going to sound really stupid, but maybe the surprise is that it actually, we love it.
That it works.
Like I think a lot of people always talk to us about like, I could never work with my
Mhm.
husband, or I could never, like,
Yeah.
and we're like, we love it.
We love it. It works for us.
Yeah.
Way to
And
not
I think
listen to the
also like
naysayers.
it's such a busy industry. It's like such a crazy
Yes.
balls to the wall kind of a thing
Yes.
that if we didn't do it together, I think we would resent the other one's work.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you
Totally.
could not do it with like
Totally.
it's just
Oh,
so
yeah. If one of you worked like a normal hours job, it
yeah,
would be really hard.
right.
Yeah. That
So
makes sense.
I think it's the only thing that'll work
Yeah.
at this point.
No, that's actually a really great point. Okay, so your kids have grown up in the business.
Yeah.
How has that shaped your family dynamic?
Oh, there's no hope for them.
No, that's not true. Your kids are the
They walk
best.
into places and they notice the light fixtures and they notice the hardware
The
and they
quality of
wonder
everything.
why would they even pick that? And they're very opinionated and they know
They have
they're
good
very
taste.
smart
Yeah, they
actually.
really are.
They have definitely grown up around it. They have words to explain things that like I don't think normal children can think
No,
about.
so
So
true. They're just
it's
connoisseurs of the finer
they
things.
have grown up around a lot of adults and
Yeah,
they've gone to forest school the last few years, but they've been essentially homeschooled. We're actually homeschooling again this next year, which
that's
just add that
exciting.
to the
Yeah,
plate. I don't
add it
know. We
on.
don't know how that's gonna work, but um yeah, I think it's really fun for them to see entrepreneurship and see like that this is an option
Yeah,
for kids. Like
so true.
I think a lot of times we're pushed to like get in a top tier school so that you can become this next big thing. And I think sometimes that's great if that's what you're supposed to do, but if it's not, like,
You feel a little left alone, like
yeah,
without options.
right.
Yeah.
And that if you want to be a self starter, I guess you can go figure that out.
Yeah,
Like,
good luck. No
right.
resources are available to you, but yeah, you guys are really paving the way
So
for
I feel
that.
like it's good for my kids to see that and to be
That's
able to work
awesome.
alongside of it and to realize, and they don't realize it yet, but to realize like, though we work a ton, we also take off
A
plenty of
lot.
time
Yeah.
and do fun things that
Yeah.
some families just can't do.
Yeah, it's so
So,
true. So let's talk about that. Like how do you guys unplug? Cuz like you said, like you and Riley probably talk about work all the time and you're surrounded by it and it's very demanding hours wise. What are your tactics to like unplugging and really just having family time?
we go to Disney.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to go somewhere and do something
Yeah.
that's just about them. Um, and that's we try to do that semi regularly um and then we still talk about work the whole time we're
Yeah.
there. But
But you're like on the roller coaster like, "Whee!"
hey, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's good for them to see that it is a part of our life.
Yeah.
Like even when we're out of town,
Totally. It doesn't
like
really
it
stop.
doesn't really stop.
Yeah.
It is a different way of working.
Yeah.
Like when I take off and we go to the beach, like dad might be going upstairs to
To
do
have a
real
call or a
quick
meeting. Yeah.
call this afternoon or whatever. But I'm still here for a week
Yeah.
and we actually did 2 weeks instead of
Yeah.
one, like so I think that there's, pros and cons to it,
Yeah.
but they're able to see all that. That's good.
I agree. What do you what do you kind of hope your kids will like say about watching you build this? Or have you even like overheard them talk about Ramblewood or the business?
They're very talkative about the business. I mean, to a embarrassing level sometimes.
They're proud.
Like when my son was little, he would just say like, "Are any workers coming over this
Oh
afternoon?"
gosh.
I'm like, "Don't refer to them as the workers." Like,
Workers.
I mean, though they were our staff, like, let's not call them the workers. Like,
That's funny.
but yeah,
He's like going to school bragging about all the workers at the
right. We
house.
have tons of
Just a huge
workers.
staff.
But I hope that they can look at what we do and realize kind of what I said before, like just realize that they can do something like this too that's creative and it gives them some freedom and
Totally.
that gives them control of their life and they can make what they want to make of it and make as much money as they want or as little money as they want.
I love it. It's true. They have full control.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so have you guys ever come close to just like completely pivoting, just even maybe completely like giving up, walking away? Like, have there been low moments? Like, what has that looked like?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well, our problem is we want to start like 5,000 businesses. So not only is it like sometimes we want to just totally pivot, but then now we're just like, well, let's not pivot. Let's just add.
Yeah.
And adding, I think we'll never get away from that. Like
Yeah. That's just who you guys
we
are.
just think it's fun.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, there has been moments where we have wanted to totally pivot and said, because though we do a lot of weddings, like I had no desire to be in the wedding industry at all when I
Yeah.
started. And
Interesting.
I love doing events, and I would probably love to do different events than just wedding. I mean, weddings
Hmm.
is just one that presents itself as an
People
obvious
get married all
thing,
the time.
right?
Yeah.
And so we ended up doing a lot more of that. And so there's been times where like just moments of just like, I don't want to do weddings. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do that anymore. And, those little like brief moments, and that's usually after like a really horrible one or, whatever it is. Um, but there's also been times where, yeah, we just wanted to totally pivot and go a different
Yeah.
direction. I mean, like COVID was crazy.
Hard.
We didn't know what was going to happen. And so it's like, yeah, should we jump ship and start
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah.
Like,
That's amazing that you
or
didn't.
are there even gonna be big events again? Like, I mean, that
Right.
was like the
It felt
question
so
everybody was
grim.
like, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
Yeah. Wasn't that crazy?
so yeah, there's definitely been times where it's been hard, and there's times where I think the calendar can look really small, slim.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's kind of like sometimes there's big years and sometimes there's smaller years, and
Yeah.
you can't even always project like when somebody's gonna need an event. You know what I
So
mean?
true.
Sometimes I like am jealous of people that sell other things like commodities versus like
Yes.
an event. Cause I'm like,
Yes.
I can go find the person that needs gravel,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I like
Yeah.
I don't know how to like say you should really throw yourself a
An event.
party this year,
That's so
like
true.
so it's a little
Yeah, it's different. You're kind
you're
of
just
at their
waiting
mercy. Yeah.
constantly, and it's hard
Yeah.
to know your like, whether your marketing efforts are working because
Yeah.
it's like, maybe they are seeing it, but they're not gonna need
But
my
they're not
services for 3
right. They don't need
years,
it. Yeah, it's
and then
so
they're gonna
true.
call me, but I don't know whether that was related to that,
Yeah, it's so true.
So it is kind of weird, just
Yeah, those things probably make
s
you overthink it,
sitting
and
there and
yeah.
wondering if you're not getting the
S
calls for one reason or another.
So
Yeah.
true. Yeah, hard to track. Okay, so like when the unexpected hits at an event, like there's like a crisis or things are going wrong, or like what are your and Riley's MO? Like how does that look?
Riley leaves.
She just leaves.
She's like, "See ya."
Oh
No,
gosh.
Riley, she can handle stress well, but like if it's like if there's all a personal attack on me, she's gone.
Oh
Like,
yeah, because she just knows
and
herself. She's gonna go off.
yeah,
Yeah.
I jump in like I don't know. I like that part of it. Like
Yeah.
I like the adrenaline of like if something is going slightly wrong, I'm usually the one that's gonna
Yeah.
go
It's
and
almost like
address it
a
and try
rush.
and
Yeah.
fix it. And
Yeah, that makes sense. What's the most like unexpected thing that's ever happened at an event?
oh my word. That
Hmm.
is a weighted
A weighted
question.
question.
Uh, um, Probably the time that we caught a bunch of tables on fire with the fireworks
Oh no. Yeah.
and they burned to the ground.
Okay. That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew it was gonna happen too, and
You just saw it unfolding.
they
Oh
just burned
gosh.
up.
Oh gosh.
But
Okay. Well, there you have it.
it was after everything, so I mean, I guess it's fine.
This is the
Everything else
grand
went
finale.
great. It was the grand finale. Like, go out with the fire.
Oh gosh, yeah,
You
there's
know?
so much liability in this industry, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I caught one of my workers on fire. Her
Oh,
dress burned off. That was
oh,
another
oh,
doozy.
oh, the tables outweighed the worker's
No,
dress
I
getting
think that
burned
one
off.
actually was more stressful now that I
Okay.
think about it. Yes.
Okay, that
That
makes
was
sense.
but that was definitely not client facing.
True,
Nobody
true.
knew
No one
that
knew that
happened.
one. Now they do, but
Yeah, exactly.
it'll be like a trivia game. Wonder which event that was. Okay, so let's talk about your team. I mean, what has been your approach to building a team? Like, how do you even go about finding people that align with like your brand and your values? It's a lot, you know? So,
It is.
what is your attack there?
I mean, so Abby works for me and does everything, and she's amazing, and she's our right-hand girl. And then Grace works for Abby and does a lot of our communications. She's her right-hand girl. And so without those two, like as our anchors, we wouldn't be able to do any of what we do. But the team is huge. Like people are like, how many people work for you? I'm like, when? Like on what day?
Yeah,
And
the
that's the other hard,
workers.
yes, the
The
workers, as they will.
workers.
Um, the other hard part is like because it's not 9 to 5 or even every weekend,
Probably the
um,
turnover's
it's a
hard.
lot of turnover, and
Mhm.
it's how do you train that? And
Mhm.
then how many events am I going to get out of you before you're not going to work for me again?
Mhm.
Um, so it's all a lot of contract labor, but we've built a really solid team of contract labor. So it's really been fun. That's been really fun to see them like love it and want to be asking us when the next one is, and disappointed when we don't have one for a little
That's
while,
sweet.
and wanting to be involved in it. And then us, part of the reason why we wanted to grow our table was like, I
Create more
I need
jobs.
my people to still be able to have more
Yeah,
work
that's
so that they
so
don't go and find a
smart.
full-time job.
So smart.
Because a lot of them are just so great, and I don't want to see them go and get something like and never come work for me again. So
So do you feel like you have a special touch or something intentional you do? I mean, because I can attest, you guys do have a great team and they're consistent. I've seen a lot of the same people year after year at our
yeah,
big event we work together on. And it's like, that's kind of rare in your industry. So, like, is
extremely.
there an intentional method to
Yeah,
that?
I think that there is. I don't know whether we've sat down and like said it was super intentional, but I think our biggest is just that we want to, like, we just did an kind of a training day and where we just like talked through some of stuff with the whole team, and
Nice.
it's we asked them all like kind of what their goals are and what they want to do, and we want to try and help support them in their journey because a lot of these people are younger, some of them are not in a full career yet,
Mm-hmm.
but thinking about like how can we like help support you as you're supporting our business,
Mm-hmm.
and we really are like sort of like a big family. We have a really fun crew too, and that's key to me. Like I'm always like, if you're not fun,
So true.
let's get out of here because this is not it is not as glamorous as people think that the
No,
industry is. You're gonna be doing some
you
really
got to make
kind of
lemonade out
gross
of
things
lemons.
like pulling gross stuff out of sinks and
Yeah.
whatever.
Getting caught on fire.
Right, getting caught
Yeah.
on fire,
Hmm.
and but it becomes like a really fun environment if everyone's of that mindset.
Yeah.
If you come in, and I think notoriously a lot of times in our industry, like it's just long hours and it's grueling and people are
They're
not
just
nice
seen
to
as
each
a
other and you're
contractor.
just seen as a
Yeah.
contractor and you're treated like one.
Yeah.
And we realize that those contract labor is like the anchor of our company and we need them and we try to pay them accordingly and we try to like
That's
really
awesome,
take care of
Zach.
them because we know that we want them to come back,
Yeah.
and that's what
And feel
Riley's
valued.
yeah,
Yeah.
Riley's really good at that. She's like, I know I could pay less or we could do all
Yeah.
these things and make more profit margin, but like,
Then
you
the
know,
scramble you'd be in come the next event trying to find help. It's like, is that worth it?
it's
Yeah.
not worth it to us
That's
and
so
we need
true.
them to really value our brand and care about it and
Yeah.
represent us well too. And they
Yeah.
do that. And they come and they dress professional and they look great and they smile and they talk to people and that's important to us
Yeah.
because that's what our brand is.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could dream up any event, like no budget constraints, no anything, like what is your dream event to produce?
I mean, probably the opening ceremonies of the Olympics.
Oh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. Okay.
I mean, I probably won't do it, but,
No, take it
not
back.
because they won't call me.
Obviously, you
It's
just will be
just at that
busy.
point, I'll probably have my
Yeah, right.
calendar booked and whatever. No, I think, like, I really miss doing, like, something that's kind of larger than life,
Yeah.
and weddings can be big and grand, and some of your corporate events can be that way a little bit,
Yeah.
can be more larger than life, but like weddings often follow trends, and so you do get the call where they're trying to tell you how unique and special their event is, and you're like, yeah, this sounds just like the one I got off the phone with an
Neutrals.
hour ago.
Got it.
Like
Iconic.
right, and even though it's
Yeah.
great, it
Yeah,
is
yeah, it's
great,
gonna be
but
beautiful,
it's
but
like, there
yeah.
is the trend, and so then it doesn't feel like you always can pull off this big wow factor
Yeah.
thing. And often also like in the wedding side of stuff, people don't know what to ask for.
Yeah.
Like they don't know they could do this and this and this and
Totally.
this.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
you have to be there to help them see what's even possible
Right.
and think outside the
And
box. Yeah.
and get them to think bigger. We always tell our clients like we're dreaming bigger for your event than
Yeah.
you are. You know,
Yeah.
because we we
That's
want to
so
do
sweet.
something bigger than
Yeah.
probably what they want to do, and probably what they want to pay for too.
Yeah, well, there's that. Okay, a few last kind of rapid fire
Yeah,
questions. So in one word, how would you describe your journey so far?
exciting,
Oh, love it.
fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
love it. What do you hope people feel when they walk into your events?
impressed,
Yeah.
amazed. Yeah. Just kind of like a wow moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Is there something special you all do at every single event? Like, do you guys kind of have a signature something that you
No, we try to have a thing that they don't know that's gonna happen. So we try to
Ooh,
have a little bit of a surprise element. We've gotten away from it slightly because we've started to just try to get them to do all those elements in
yeah.
their plan. But yeah, we try to like, oh wait, like let's not tell them. Let's try to do the one thing that they thought they weren't gonna get that they really wanted.
That's
Like, how can
so
we find that, or at least put a piece of that in
that's
there
so sweet.
so that they
That's
can have
really
that.
special.
Yeah,
That's cool. Okay, and finally, Zach, I want you to finish this sentence. The heart of Ramblewood is
care.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I feel like we care a lot.
You do.
And I feel like we want it to be we want it to be as special as possible, and sometimes to a fault. Like sometimes it's like we priced you out because we cared a little too much. You know?
Yeah, but the caring, it'll come back
Yeah.
tenfold. Probably
Yep.
already has.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you.
on. You're
Thank
awesome.
you.